And I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
Alabama Governor George Wallace was infamous for those words by the time he ran for president in 1972. But his campaign was cut short by an assassination attempt. While he was in the hospital, he was visited by one of his opponents in the Democratic presidential primary, Shirley Chisholm, the first black woman ever elected to Congress. But at least one of Chisholm's campaign staffers was critical of the surprise visit. The staffer would go on to become a member of Congress who would form her own friendship with Wallace's daughter. And now they're on a shared mission to teach a new generation about racial equality and the power of nonviolence. Joining me now are Congresswoman Barbara Lee of California and Peggy Wallace Kennedy, author of The Broken Road, George Wallace, and A Daughter's Journey to Reconciliation. Thank you both very much for being here. I've been dying to get this story out on a larger platform. Congresswoman Lee, I will start with you because you were that staffer who was really mad at Shirley Chisholm for stopping the campaign and going to visit George Wallace. Why were you mad?
Thank you, Jonathan. Behind this mask, I'm really smiling because I'm so glad to be here with my friend and sister, Peggy. Let me just tell you, that was the first time I had registered to vote because I didn't think that the two-party system had anything relevant for myself as a young African-American woman on public assistance, single, trying to raise two small boys and make a life for themselves. But Shirley Chisholm convinced me to get involved in her campaign. Lo and behold, she actually went to visit a segregationist, a racist, someone who I despised. That was George Wallace. And she really upset me for doing that. She upset me because she did that, and I was about ready to stop working in her campaign because here I was young, naive, but committed to the work of justice. So she took me to task. She took me to task, and she told me, come on, Barbara, you know, we're human beings. She said, who knows? I may be able to influence him. I may be able to talk to him. Look, it doesn't mean that I hate him. I don't like him.
Right.
I said, well, I hate him. And she taught me a lesson then in terms of reconciliation, redemption. Peggy can tell you how we came together, but little did I know that Peggy was in that hospital with her father when Shirley Chisholm was there. That dialogue ensued.
And in fact, Peggy, you were in the room when Shirley Chisholm came to visit your father after that assassination attempt. And in a conversation you and I had on the pilgrimage, I think in 2019 or 2018, the Faith and Politics Civil Rights pilgrimage, that you think that the seed was planted in your father's his own long journey to redemption from his segregationist years.
Yes, I do believe that visit from Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm, her visit, she came and prayed with my father and talked with him. And he asked her, he said, what do you think your people will say about this? And she said, I don't care what they say. I wouldn't want this to happen to anyone else. And so I think that her visit and her friendship planted a seed in my father's heart, and that began his healing. And I think that it was a wonderful moment.
And in fact, on one of the pilgrimages, you told the incredible story as we were there in Dexter Avenue Baptist Church there in Montgomery, Dr. King's old church, that your father came to that church unannounced on a Sunday and asked for forgiveness from the congregation, and as he left, they sang Amazing Grace. But Congresswoman Lee, in the little bit of time that we have left, you and Peggy Wallace Kennedy are there together in Montgomery, Alabama. Why?
Well, we're here together because and Peggy has been so unbelievable in terms of mentoring young people from my Martin Luther King Jr. Freedom Center in Oakland, California. So they're here this week. They've had an opportunity to visit and to be with John Lewis for many, many times now. I think 12 times they have visited Alabama on the pilgrimage. And so Peggy and her life, you know, Dr. King said that nonviolence is a way of life. Well, Peggy has dedicated herself to a life of defeating injustice, which is one of those principles of nonviolence. And so she's working with young people all over, and especially in my district here in Alabama, to help them become the leaders that they already are, really, in terms of working for to dismantle racism and fighting for justice. So I'm very proud of them, and Peggy continues to be in touch with them and helping them understand and see that the future is theirs.
And Peggy, real quickly, how much fun is it to be with these young people and impart to them the lessons of the past to help them with the future?
Well, it is a wonderful experience to be with those young people, and Mark and I had them in our home on Thursday night, and it was just a blessing to us to have them in our home, and they are our future. And I told Barbara that they are intelligent, and they are so wonderful and caring and kind, and they are our future. And it was just a joy for Mark and I to be able to host them and be able to break bread with them. Right. And they were wonderful.
Well, Peggy Wallace Kennedy, please tell Judge Kennedy I said hello. And Congresswoman Barbara Lee, thank you very much for coming to the show. Up next, why Broadway may no longer be the